This is the Pro Tour. Round 7 action of the Pro Tour takes place at the Phakisa Freeway, and we pick up on that action with Goldwagen Challenge and the Red Square Kawasaki ZX-10 R Masters Cup. A big thanks to Goldwagen for all this action in the Goldwagen Challenge. Close to 40 cars come in to take part in the round 7 here at Phakisa. And because there was only about 40 there, they decided to put them all together. Although qualifying was a separate affair, and VWChallengeSA was quickest in Class A ahead of VWC, a big surprise there. VWChallengeSA top of Class C.
What's the plan? If it was me, I'd just be hiding behind Keegan's big car and just sitting there waiting for it to happen.
Yeah, sure. It does sound good to keep the slipstream down to the end. But yeah, let's see. You know, I'm going to try to get off the mark, and obviously, if I can get a gap, I'm going to go for it. You know.
It is still cold, but the sun's coming out. That just means it's going to be crazy fast laps.
Yeah, I think so. The cars will be down on power a bit because it's a bit hotter than it was yesterday. But I think the wind will catch us, and once again, I think the Polos will do well, and the guys in the Golf 1s will battle to keep up. But let's see, there are some brilliant drivers with us. I'm sure we're going to have a wonderful day.
In Class B, Darren Nathan out in the Polo, set the quickest time ahead of Atkinson and Thole, and Ramsey was quickest of Class D with Piazza Musso and Hurley pushing him.
Got to be the prettiest car in the pits right now.
As we know in racing, man, pretty doesn't win races. Look at the rest of the cars in the series. There's some unbelievable guys here. So the trick is to make it work, and I think there's still a bit of development that we can do here, but we're off to a good start.
Race 1, and looks like a great start there for VWChallengeSA. He gets down into turn 1 with a whole pack of cars on his tail, and he's going to have to work hard now as Nobre has found some serious pace in the Digit Volkswagen Polo.
And VWChallengeSA back from injury, and we know that the big Golf, the Jumbo Golf as we call it, the new shape Jumbo Golf anyway, that is incredibly stable around the Phakisa Freeway.
Darren Nathan, Sex Trader Polo alongside him and pushing hard. You can see just everybody lining up to take turn 1, and on the inside of the corners where you need to be, but it looks like around the outside Nathan was able to hang on. Thole is going to push hard. Remember, he's in his old car as Graham Nathan has decided to go out there in the new one.
Yeah, just cruising around at the back, still developing that car, and it looks strong for now. Next class back, and this is probably going to be the biggest battle on the track because these guys are so evenly matched. VWChallengeSA is coming to the second half of the season, fired up and ready to take the fight to Needham.
Needham gets the whole shot though, so he's going to have to take the fight a little bit more. The Batman in the background in the Batmobile, and there you can see Graham Nathan's pulled to the sideline, so looks like there might be still a little bit of development on that Polo GTI, but with the big man behind the wheel, you can't ask for a better man to develop that car.
Remember, that's the first time it's actually been launched off the line, Greg.
Down into turn 1 now. Is it going to be Hurley or Ramsey? They're side by side. That's an awesome start for Class D, and it's side by side for the teammates as well.
Remember, Hurley was actually third fastest in qualifying, a full 2 seconds off the pace, so he was obviously hanging something back. We know that he'll be able to match the pace out front, though, pretty soon.
Looks like the pace out front was actually too hot for Keegan VWChallengeSA, and he's suspected of a jump start. So the man in third place, the Vendetta Golf 4, you can see the blue stripes coming down the back straightaway now as the red striped car of VWChallengeSA comes under pressure from Carlos Nobre. That car there is under suspicion of a jump start though.
Barry Groenewold pulls out of the slipstream and tries to get one up the inside. He ain't going to make it work, but remember, the Polos do cut a slightly better line through this air, especially on the big straights.
Yeah, especially against the Golf 1s. There we go at the front end though. The Polos are getting away. Those are the Polo, the hatchback versions as opposed to the classics that we see with the boot. Now we go a bit further back here and you can see that Thole is under pressure too. Cruises on his tail, and it looks like he's going to have his hands full almost all race long.
That's for third place in the Bs because the top 2 guys are getting away. It looks like Nathan is going to control this one quite nicely. Third place is all about Thole twitching as he goes into the heavy braking zone.
Rory Atkinson is all over the back of Nathan though, and as you said, here we go on board on the cruiser. It says Warren Muir, but it's actually Ryan Thole in his old car. As we saw and spoke about, Graham Nathan from Nathan's Motorsports sorting out the GTI for Ryan Thole, and because Warren Muir actually had a bit of illness on the weekend, he allowed Ryan to get back in his old car and have some fun.
Do not write off Alna Cruiser. She has been astounding this season. That car has been fired up the whole way, and it's definitely a contender. Right now, I can tell you she's getting held up.
I think so. I think Thole might be battling a little bit there. A little bit further back now. Look at this. Change up at the front end. Needham leads out. And VWChallengeSA is now coming under the clutches of the Golf 2. And is that the Batmobile? Yes, it is. The Dark Knight is rising again and starting to make his way up into the second place battle.
And Batgirl is on the fly as well because that's Alka Van Vletter charging through. She's only a couple of wheels back.
Yeah, it's a good little race here, and I can tell you something, there's not much in it between these guys as they go side by side out of turn 1, and then it's line astern as they head down towards 2 and 3. Hard braking required here. Look in the background. Guys are just lining up. Stewie Mack looking for a way through. Can he find it? No. Hangs on, but what an awesome start here. Francois van Sal having a go as well. There's nothing in it and very evenly matched in Class B.
Look at that, Class C delivering the most numbers here because they fill up the entire short straight before we head into the toe of the boot.
Awesome stuff here as they come into the toe of the boot now. It's 4 Golf 1s battling for what is 5th place in this class. And look how close those Golf 1s are. There's nothing in it between them. Very evenly matched cars as we've seen all season long. And that's why this class is so competitive.
Very early stages of this race, but what we need to watch out for is a couple of the Class D flyers, the youngsters, the Carters. They should be able to tag onto the back of these guys within a couple of laps.
Front end of the field though, and 1 and 2 and 3 are getting away. But remember, we still got a concern about that jump start. See Needham now, Smallberger, really close stuff. And right behind Smallberger comes Groenewald. So the 2 Hulk Racing cars, look at this, going to battle and taking on Needham. Needham running a little bit wide, opening up the door. You don't want to do that.
No, he runs
especially with those 2 on your tail.
He runs a different line on that car. He wants to get the exit speed to come out, but you leave your inside exposed and open, and there's a big chance of getting a tag. To talk about Quinton Needham, he has a lot of mechanicals during the year, but when that car holds together, it is a rocket ship.
He runs wide again and another different line, but he's going to be able to hang on to the inside line for Coca-Cola. Will we see a move around the outside here? There it comes. But no, once again, carrying corner speed, as you said, Matt, taking the different lines, and he has to do that in the Golf because it doesn't have the ability in terms of aerodynamics that the 2 Polo Classics have got.
Smallberg around the outside. Watch this. He's got the big drive. He is going to get closed down, but he grabs quite a lot of curb on the way out. Doesn't back it down. Quinton takes him all the way to the dirty stuff, and that was a big rollout. That could have got very dangerous, and that's Barry Groenewald now slides through. So the frustration from the first of the Halp cars really getting punished.
Monkeys now under pressure from Nobre. He has been almost all race long, and even into turn 1 on race
that
1.
Thing's getting loose.
Oh yeah, you can see a little bit of understeer as they went in there. Whoa! Sideways. How do you drift a front-wheel drive car? Well, ask the Monkeys. He'll show you.
You just keep it buried the whole way through. But Nobre also being hounded with mechanicals, arguably one of the fastest challengers in this group, but he has had a lot of problems. Here's a problem further back.
Pressure has been put on, and pressure, unfortunately, falling into the hands of Smallberger. He tried it a little bit earlier on and ran wide. This time he's run wide completely and ended up in the kitty litter.
Yeah, he just got forced way to the outside, could not get back, and was trying to actually go through the sweep on the outside, and there's no way you can make that thing turn. Here we go. This is a move for the very front of the race, and the sweep, the big scary one.
Yeah, goes up the inside, gets it up the inside and makes it stick. But you can see Valdi's not holding back. We go on board with him. Look how hard he's having to work that car. You can definitely problem with the front end and the handling of the car. It's definitely not as good as what Nobre's was. You can see him able to pull out of the corner, and now Valdi has to go hunting and try and get that first place back.
I'll be very curious to see the back end of Carlos Nobre's car when they actually go on board with Valdi, because I want to see if it's actually going to be lining up or whether it's going to be stepping out. For my money, to make that pass means it's got a better setup, and the back end is a little bit tighter.
Here we go. It's still not over yet, and they're coming into the back markers with a big field of cars of nearly 35 on the grid. It's definitely something that they're going to have to worry about here in the latter part of the race. They're going to catch onto the back end of Class D, and Class A are definitely going to be hindered by getting to the front end and eventually catching these back markers.
The question mark we've been throwing over third place has been confirmed. Keegan Blackensee, a confirmed
Whoa,
jump
big
start.
spinner! Woo-hoo-hoo! Sideways stuff, nearly getting involved in that Class A, and another spinner. Oh, this is a big one here, and the 83 car just gets completely sideways. Giles Darroch, that's not how you go through the bottom turn, bud.
Oh, it's dirty down
there's definitely
there.
something out there.
Someone's dragged something on there, and I think it was Smallberger. Smallberger went off at that point. That's where he came back on, and he's obviously dragged a lot of roost. What I was saying before that spin happened, though, confirmation, Keegan Blackensee, jump start. That means he's going backwards.
Good recovery there from Gert Rousseau, getting back on the track very quickly. So nicely done there from a relatively newcomer to VWC Challenge. You see these guys now at the back end. This is Hurley and Ramsey battling for Class D honours. So the Class D battle probably just as hot as what's happening here for Class B. And Nathan is under pressure now. They're closing in on the back end of Class A, but the Sex Trader car and, of course, that man in the Falcon Trailers machine pushing hard on his tail. Atkinson has been better almost every single race this season, but every now and again we get a shining sun here on Darren Nathan.
Yeah, remember Atkinson in the Polo without a boot the whole way through his career. For the last 2 years, he has been in the Polo with the boot. So a really good transition across. And it's something to actually be commended, because a lot of other drivers have not been able to get on with this vehicle.
Yeah, I can tell you, I'm one of them. I was involved with the Polo like we used to have, and then got into one of these, and they are very difficult to drive. So light in the back end, and any mistake you'll feel very quickly.
I was actually talking about Jakes Jacobs. I mean, a guy who really can go out there and take wins. And for 2 seasons, he tried to get on with the new Polo, just couldn't figure it out.
It's a difficult car to drive, and you speak to any of the NGN Volkswagen Cup guys, they'll tell you just how hard it is to drive, including Sorrel van der Merwe. So for these guys to run this kind of pace, and remember, this is the front end now. We're talking about the 2 faster Polos of the Polo groups out there, and this is the hatchback versions we are mentioning, but these guys haven't given anything back, and you can see Valdi hasn't given up yet. He is all over Nobre.
Nobre is turning some solid laps, though. Yeah, I think Valdi is going to be right on him, but any mistake, and he's going to be able to pounce. But look at the wheel work that is going on. Valdi seems to have figured his car out, and he is getting the toe. He obviously feels like he's got a pass in hand. It's either going to happen just around the corner here as we go up and over into turn number 3, or it's going to be the standard option Phakisa move 2 corners from the end.
I love this little battle that's happening. Ramsey and Hurley, side by side. Very even cars, probably the most even of all the cars that are battling for leads in their various categories. And they come up on one of the Class C competitors. You can see just having a little bit of a problem there to find a way through, but fortunately held his line, and the 2 of them stuck through.
Pretty sure that was Brad Hall, and a big surprise to see him that far back. He's normally up there challenging, or can challenge, for a top 3 position.
Well, we saw him going into turn 1 side by side with Piazza Musa, his teammate, so there's definitely a problem on Hall's car, which I'm sure they'll sort out in between the races.
Hurley has figured things out, though, and that has been the battle all season long in the Class Ds. The car is coming through and coming good.
Look at this little battle. Oh man, this is awesome stuff. Once again, that is Brad Hall involved in the battle at the back end. That was Jacques Smith and Craig Gammy. Gammy also having some problems on his own, and looks like the Class D competitors are now having a little bit of fun and games with the C guys.
And a good highlight there is a short Brad go on the inside, which is the dirty line, and it is absolutely filthy today. Phakisa at the end of winter is very unforgiving, completely filthy offline.
You've got to make sure you hit the hot lines, and that's exactly what we're seeing out of the 119 of Craig Gammy. He eventually finds a way through, but hangs on tough, and you can see big crowds coming out here, like we saw at the Super Series. Eventually, Valcom has decided, yeah, motorsport is definitely something to come and watch, and they're back at the freeway.
Well, since the running of Phakisa Freeway has been picked up by the tourism board up there, they've been putting a lot of effort into it and making it a standout feature of the Free State.
And that was Jacques Smith under a bit of pressure as we go to the front end once again. And here we go. Is this a welcome return? Yes, it is. I was thinking it was Smallberger, and he is all over Gossman like a very bad rash and looking for a way through.
Yeah, Gossman's in huge trouble here because Smallberger is the faster of the 2. He's just putting that pressure on. Watch for the cutback there, because he made Gossman go in there way deep.
Yeah, I love the fact that he's putting the pressure onto that jumbo Golf. Looking for a way past, comes around the outside. Maybe he'll have what it takes if he's got enough tyres left, because he has been on and off the track a bit today. In the background, you can see Gavin Ross, and right behind him, that is Class B leader, Nathan.
And a big gap as well, because Rory Atkinson has had some problems getting through the traffic, and that is the biggest gap we've seen so far. So Nathan looks pretty happy out there. He's got around about a 1.5 second lead.
Incoming, this time on the right line, not drifting wide through this corner. Much better stuff into Vincini 1. Coming out of Vincini 2 now. Let's see if he can pull a bit of gap. Look how he's pulling away from Gossman, who's definitely been held up there by the big jumbo Golf. And now that he's got through, he can try and close on his teammate.
Now, he'll be a little bit frustrated. These are the Class B leaders now coming through, and you can see what the traffic situation does. If you're leading the class, you can make a clean pass and get through and out. If you're following, you've got to get around the traffic and still try and catch up with the man out front. Gossman is not going to get past right here, but it's going to be probably heading up to the Uchinis through the sweepers.
You can see Gavin Ross has been passed pretty easily by Nathan, and I think it's going to be the same kind of thing coming out of Atkinson. So those 2 battling hard here, as you can see. Nathan takes a wide line.
Bad decision to try and go around the outside. That's going to allow Rory Atkinson to close things up. He'll be looking around. Look at that. That's frustration. Nathan is looking very, very frustrated. He tried outside. He's now going to have to go around the outside, and it probably clipped the curb on the inside. No, there's enough space, but he is in the danger zone. It sweeps around the outside through the Uchinis. Finally gets it done. But that was scary because it's greasy out there.
And tell you something, Gossman helped him out there. He realized that Nathan was a quicker car and actually tapped out of it just ever so slightly and allowed Darren a little bit of extra room. And then I'm sure you'll have a chat with him afterwards and say, thanks very much, I needed that.
Same situation out front, and the overall leader of the race, Carlos Nobre. We call him No Brakes when he goes and takes the win because he is just pinned the whole way through. Traffic has been kind to him. but his car is held together, and it's been the kindest so far this season. The flag is going to be out for no brakes to take it.
Carlos Nobre takes Class A ahead of VWChallengeSA, and Quinton Needham will eventually come through for third place just in the background. So an awesome drive there from Needham. He'll be hanging on because that man that's going to cross the line now, unfortunately, as we said, confirmed jump start there for Keegan Blackensee. That'll drop him down 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's going to hurt him. And then in the Class B, as you can see, Nathan got through the traffic. Rory Atkinson was closing on him, and had he had clear air, he may have challenged, but matched him pretty much lap for lap. So that was a very tense race for Nathan to try and hang on.
Sole eventually coming through for third place in the Class B. Is a great drive from him in his old car. When we look at the Class Cs, it was all about Andre Needham taking on VWChallengeSA, and Needham hung on to take out the Class Cs. There we have confirmation of A and B though. As you can see, Keegan Blackensee has been reinstated into third place ahead of Needham and Groenewald. Nathan Atkinson and Thole, your top three.
In the C's, all about Needham winning out over Roos, although they were close the whole way through the race. Class D's glued together, Hurley and Ramsey. Hurley wins this time.
We had a little bit of problems in qualifying. That was sorted out in the first warm-up on Saturday morning, and we were back on pace and just ready for race one.
You and Lyle locked and loaded once again.
Well, yesterday it looked like he was going to be quicker the whole day, and Devon as well. I don't know what happened to him in the race, but it looked like I was back in third place again. But I just managed to get a good start, get away, and then just me and Lyle the whole race. It was amazing.
Join us after the break for some more action from the Goldwagen Challenge.
Back to coverage from round number 7 of the Pro Tour. The Phakisa Freeway in the Free State. Before the break, we saw a combined race. We've got a combined race once again for the Goldwagens, and leading things out is the Class A's. And watch out for Nobre because he is now pumped up.
Yeah, he's taken a win, and VWChallengeSA has now got it all to do. There's a possibility we might have seen a jump start again. This time, hopefully, they've got it right. But I think Quinton Needham might be under the scrutiny of the COC as they head down towards turn 2.
Regardless, he has got a cracker of a start and he's running up there. Class B's, now we're going to see if Nathan can actually get himself up there, but someone's got a big problem at the back.
Looks like Thole. Thole's gone from the back to, the front to the back. And there you can see his new car with Graham Nathan behind the wheel doing the final dust-off and settling in process before he hands it over. And what a start there from Van Zyl. Wowee! Saving the grass, saving everything out there.
Van Zyl going absolutely farming in the Free State, trying to find some millies out there.
I think he might have found a hell of a lot out there, but it wasn't traction, that's for sure. Heading down towards turn number 2 now, and through this little sweep, heading to 3. It's a good start once again from Andre Needham. He's done everything right and got off the line ahead of VWChallengeSA.
And in the D's, check this out. It is Piazza Musso and Hall. Much better drop off the line this time.
Now, Brad Hall ahead of Piazza Musso and hanging tough this time in the Restonic Golf and trying to close down on the man out front, and that, of course, is going to be Hurley.
Look at Ramsey,
Look at
way
Ramsey.
back there.
Where did he go?
Yeah, absolutely miles back. 4th place, that means he's got a lot of work to do, and some big guys, teammates as well, that are going to block hard before he can come through.
Speaking of blocking, you don't get much harder blocking than what we're seeing out of the 55 car here of Smallberger, and he keeps it blocked. Blackensee tried to sneak up the inside in the Vendetta Golf 4, but just couldn't find a way through.
That was a big move for Smallberger to cut across the nose. Look how dirty he is. Yeah, check it out. Needham catches the big slapper, and it takes a lot to hang on to that thing. Then he goes again.
Nobre didn't.
Nobre's gone. So that just shows you how dirty it was in the braking zone. So they're going to have to be very careful. It's often the case here at the Phakisa Freeway. The second heats are absolutely different because the track just breaks up. A lot of the dust gets picked up and settles, and the track just gets no traction.
Yeah, it becomes like an ice rink out there, and I can tell you both of those cars definitely found out exactly what it takes to get through there on lack of traction. Speaking of lack of traction, well, there's no problems there with the Golf 4. And Blackensee has snuck ahead. Now, he was reinstated to 3rd place, so he's going to be happy about that.
On
if
for
he
a
goes
good
like
overall.
this, there's a possibility of a 1st overall here.
Yeah, he's on for a very good overall now, and it was a clean drop off the gate this time around, and he's charging. Look how quickly he got around Smallberger. He pulled 2 car lengths out of him straight away. But Nobre, fastest man on track, and he actually had the fastest lap in the 1st heat, so we know what he can do.
Let's see if he's able to put it all together now in heat number 2. Coming through there and looking for fourth place, and fourth place is not going to be an easy man to pass. We already saw just how difficult it was for Keegan Blackensee to find a way past Smallberger. Now Nobray's going to do the same thing, and he's going to look to bring Quinton Needham along for the ride.
Valdi Monkeys was looking like odds on for a championship this year, and then a couple of rounds where he lost his brain out there. I don't know what happened to him, so he's lost the championship. So it's going to be blown wide open right now with these results.
Well, if you take into account that James Hurley's already taken a victory today, and you can see that Darren Nathan has taken a victory, that's where the championship in overalls is going to be heading. But remember, there's still class victories to be won here, and there's class championships to be wrapped up too.
Nobre just blew past Smallberg. He's absolutely pinned out there. You can see he's really got the top end. He's getting the drive out the corners. Give him 2 laps, and he'll be should be around the big golf.
Well, we spoke about the championship in this class, and it's between Monkeys and Nobre. So that's 1 and 3 on the road, as we see Needham having a go and trying to find a way past, and makes it easily. So it looks like Smallberger might have done a little bit of damage there, and maybe he's cooked the tyres a bit in the first race.
Needham's found the setup. I don't think they've told him he's got a jump start yet, but he's definitely got one of the fastest cars out there. Unfortunately, he was the first man to go slightly offline and find the wagging tail.
So they come out to complete another lap. So Class A is starting to heat up. Yeah, the 2 Halfwood boys going at it. In fact, there you go, confirmation. Smallberger's out.
Yeah, Smallberger just looks like something must have broken loose. The car just looked like the back end was all over the place. It's going to be some kind of suspension damage.
So Groenewald will have to keep the flag flying there for Haupt Racing. Behind him comes Gavin Ross, and in the background, Gossman. Just battling today. He really hasn't got the kind of pace that we normally see out of Andy Gossman. But, of course, there's still a couple of laps to go, and things can go wrong, like we see Thole doing.
Yeah, Thole is just having an absolute stinker on. And here is Stevenson trying to sweep around the outside. Stevenson, since he got that car off Steve Hurley, has been developing, and he's been getting better and better every time he's been going out there. And this is probably his best weekend so far.
Goes around. Speaking of going around, that's how you get around in 81. Craig Gossman. It's not the way we want to be doing it in the all black machine there.
That was way wide.
Hung on and fortunately got back on track.
Check out the situation. I told you, Nobre, no brakes was pinned, and Mikey's has got a problem. So this is now the battle on the road for first place, not only in the race, but in the overalls for the day.
Yeah, and also let's take into account it's for the championship. With Mikey's parking on the sideline, that is going to bring Nobre right back into Class A's title contention.
Second half of the season has just been Valdi Mikey's either having a bad day driving-wise or a bad day mechanical-wise. He should theoretically be leading this championship by absolutely miles based on his early season form.
There you can see the car parked on the sideline. Valdi trying to do running repairs, but it's too late now, unfortunately.
Checking water, tyres, and he's going to clean the windscreen as well.
Yeah, he's pretty quick at that, eh? Here comes the battle for third place, though. Needham hanging on, and just behind him, pushing hard. All of a sudden, we've got Ross involved, and he's not going to hold back here, that is for sure. He's pushing it to the limit, and Groenewald is under pressure.
And here is the pass for the lead and the pass for the overall on the day. Can you know? You just got to know. In that cockpit, Carlos Nobre is praying for that car to hold together because we've seen the situation so many times. Himself and Valdi, they take a win, then it's a DNF, a win and a DNF. And then this man, he's back from injury, so he's really got nothing to lose.
And he's definitely got nothing to lose there, man. I have to confirm that because he's also not in contention for any of the championships. He's out there just for the race victory. So he's going to throw everything he can to get that checkered flag first.
Keegan Blackensee has had a good move.
Hello?
That's Needham. That was third place. He's gone NASCAR racing. Down at the braking zone, he's gone a long way wide. So he's got some handling problems on the Golf 1.
Some handling problems? I think I'll confirm that one. It came back behind Gossman, dude. Lots of work to do now. Atkinson now at the front end. Oh, and as I say that, something's broken.
That was it right at the top end of the revs, and that thing just let go completely.
Oh, you can see that as he parks it on the sideline here, or tries to park it on the sideline. It's a bit of a pity, though, because now, all of a sudden, the championship is blown wide open in Class B and the overall title chase, because remember, him and Darren Nathan and, of course, James Hurley are fighting for the overalls, but more importantly, he's fighting for Class Bs with Darren Nathan.
Just for what actually happened on the track there as well when Rory Atkinson's car let go, it could have been so much worse as well, because that is the very top end of the revs, and that's just before you do a little brake and a little lift and come off. If that thing would have broken probably just half a second before, he'd have gone spinning off into the gravel.
Yeah, probably would have ended up at the top of the tower where Funsel's heading to now. But he managed to keep it rolling through the kitty litter, and you'll be able to get back on the track. That's third off for him this weekend, I believe.
Yeah, he's finding a lot of mealies out there.
Oh, there you can see just cars falling by the wayside now. The 44 cars out. Hey, Thole! Oh, that's number 4 for Ryan Thole. Yeah, we're going to tack those up and definitely give a fines meeting at Nathan's Motorsport after this.
And he is famous for that as well. Unfortunately, he has actually parked more than 3 cars into that kitty litter throughout the last couple of years.
Well, that's just been confirmed. That's now Ryan Thole corner.
It is. I'm giving it.
Roos in the background goes through. And Needham spun out.
I was going to say, I'm going to go plant a tree for him, but look at all the cars that are falling out. This just shows you how the track has degraded, and it's going to blow the overalls wide open. While all this is going on, by the way, Darren Nathan is making headway all the way through, almost to the top of the field.
Yeah, he's disappeared. He's disappeared at the front end. That's Thole sideways again. Man, that could have ended up in test. You see that bumpy hit? He could have gone Maloney Rowley there.
I'm telling you, the front right took a big hit, and there's some huge suspension damage.
Oh, the Dark Knight, unfortunately, is going back to the Batcave. That thing is game over. Around the outside goes Patel.
That's not even going to make it. This is going to be parked on the infield. Jeez, there's going to be a lot of trailer work happening later on today.
Yeah, I don't want to be part of the Phakisa Freeway Marshals because they've got plenty cars to go and recover. This is the Batgirl though, Elka. She maintains and runs at the front end, battling hard there with Phakisa. Haven't seen much of him today. It's good to see him at the front end and in a battle again.
Yeah, he's been picking up the pace, and on the tracks that you can use superbike lines, he comes good. I can't think why.
I don't know why. Jacques Smith also parked on the sideline. So that is, I'd say about 10 cars parked out of this race, and that's a big unfortunate loss here for Goldwagen Challenge, because the whole idea with Goldwagen Challenge is because there's so many cars, that's why we get such good racing.
Remember as well, because we combined them, we've made these all 10-lap races. That is an eternity for these guys to be racing out there. And why we're seeing the tires go off is because they are literally done. There's nothing left.
Well, they really are taking some strain now. It's a matter of survival to the end of the race now. They used to do 8-lappers here, and the majority of the drivers actually prefer to do 8 laps, but it is 10-lap heats, and it's every man for himself, and of course a couple of ladies involved too. The front end though, Nobre hanging on for dear life to try and keep out the young up-and-coming Keegan Blackensee.
Did you see in the background, that lead was absolutely massive. That looked like it was one of the Nathan's Motorsports cars, which is running a way back, but it was a long way off. I mean, we're talking about 3rd place on the road overall. We won't even see them in the shot, and this is one of the longest shots we use in South African motorsport. That's over 10 seconds.
Yeah, I can't see him. I can confirm that it's probably going to be Darren Nathan, so confirmation on the Nathan's Motorsport machine. It's the Sex Trader Polo, and he's made his way up to 3rd place overall, which is an awesome drive for a Class B Polo.
Looks like Keegan Blackensee has got the better coming out of some of the shorter corners, but on the big sprints and through the big sweepers, Nobre's just braver, and he's got a better setup in his car, so he hasn't been chewing the rubber as bad.
They come across the line and complete another lap, and you can see now as they head into the closing stages, we're looking to wrap things up in terms of overalls for the day. It looks like Nobre, if he stays where he is, will take 1st overall. But if he doesn't, and there's problems, you're going to see Blackensee moving up in the overalls as well.
A lot of history in those cars. They've turned a lot of laps in South African Motorsports. We go a little bit further back, and that's Stevenson. Oh, Stevenson getting way loose. I was singing his praises earlier on, and he just bust the back end out.
That's the first time I've seen a Polo do a stoppie. That's brilliant, Pat. Awesome stuff.
That's a lot of damage to the front of that car, and it took a huge slam, but the Armco saved him.
Yeah, definitely did. Right, as we now go to the front end again into the back markers. And this is where Blackensee will look to capitalize. He may be able to find a way past Nobre. Nobre seems to have got everything dialed in today.
Very, very hard to try and make passes at this stage of the race. You're at maximum pace. You're as hard as the tires and the car can go. And now you've got to switch up lines and change your braking markers to get around the lappers. Yeah, that was a missed line completely from Blackensee.
You can see he's battling with tires, Matt. Look at him coming into that section of the complex.
He
ran wide twice.
He's actually changing up his line. He's actually trying to get the big drive, and it works, because look how close he got to Nobre there. So his switch-up is actually paying dividends, and it was worth the go, because the flag is right there, and Nobre just takes it, and that is going to be him for the overall in the day.
A brilliant bit of driving there from Carlos Nobre. The Digit Polo wins out overall and both races. So that is pretty awesome stuff. Keegan Blackensee, unfortunately, drops way out of it. No problems here for Darren Nathan as he comes to take Class B honours. And in fact, that'll be 2nd overall for the day. As I was about to say, Keegan Blackensee being disqualified for a Clerk of the Courses infringement, and he won't be in the top 2 in Class A as Nathan goes into turn 1 to take the accolades.
That was absolutely crazy. The track looked like a completely different beast. Voto Roos getting the monkey off his back and getting Needham off his back bumper. He comes through for the flag.
Needham with a spin out earlier on is not going to help him out in any way. Nobre, Ross and Gossman, the top 3 in Class A. Nathan, Cruiser and Mack. And in fact, on the Cruiser, comes through for 5th overall on the day.
In the Class C's, all about Voto Roos coming through and beating Needham this time around. Those guys have been flipping out the whole way through the year. And in the Class D's, Hurley goes double on the day, this time ahead of Piazza Musso in 2nd.
first double of the season.
Sure, I'm absolutely stoked. I can't believe it. There's no words I can describe it. I'm really happy. Cars worked well. The team has done really well for me, and it was hard racing. You know, as you saw on the first corner, I missed third gear, so lost a bit of pace, but still composed myself and made it work for me at the end. You know?
Darren, not only a pounding of the field in the Class Bs, but you were right up with the Class As. You really found some pace in that second race.
Yeah, that second race was good, eh? Made a couple of changes to the car. Graham and Dean made a fantastic call, and I had huge grip. It stopped well, it turned well, it just came together so well for me in race 2.
And it's gone that way in the championship as well as you take the lead, Darren Nathan in the polo. Good drive there. James Hurley still on your tail, and so is Rory Atkinson and Yanni van Rooyen. That'll go down to Kyle Army the next round.
Big thanks to Goldwagen once again for this Goldwagen Challenge race action.